everything might not be your thing. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Lamborghini C. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to touch on an important topic. I think for the timing of the year, we're past halfway through the year. And I am starting to realize, or I'm being faced with the realization that everything might not be your thing. And what do I mean by that? Well, the reason that this kind of came about is I started to look at like just how I was extending myself, right? Different organizations that I'm joining. Of course, I'm out networking, joining different groups and what have you. I'm meeting some great people, right? And so it's interesting because the hustle and bustle or being on the go is starting to kind of be my norm. I'm starting to find a place with it. Now, earlier this year, as it was gearing up and I was starting to get pulled into like these different local meetings and things, I will tell you, like I worried. Like I didn't know if I would be able to withstand it and still stay true and committed to my goals as well as, my commitments. Like, and, making sure that I showed up where it's important to me, like in my. So again, that was a real concern because I also wanted to make sure that I not only was staying committed to like my goals, like with my business, and just in personal life in general, running your house and what have you, but also making sure that I was, staying true to my commitments in my personal relationships. That has been something that's been key to me this year. It's on my goals, right, to make sure that I'm intentional with those relationships and cultivating them and growing them. And so, there was a point I even felt overwhelmed because I thought, boy, how am I going to manage all of these different competing, not only competing tasks, but competing commitments and things like that. And so again, I throw this out to you. Everything may not be for you, and that's where you're going to have great discernment, and you're going to, need to make sure that you stay committed to those goals and things that you set, and make sure that you really are true and open with yourself and honest with yourself, right? So that's where sometimes like being able to go to like the things that you wrote down like months ago, right? And look at those goals and really align like your life as well as like in your business to really assess like, hey, am I on the right path forward? Am I, like really walking in my truth? Am I walking toward my destiny? Just with some of the decisions that I'm making, with some of the people that I'm connecting with, are they in alignment with, my goals and my destiny? Or am I potentially getting off path a little bit? So I think that is, again, that is so important. Like that's part of the significance of going through that whole goal setting phase, as well as like, working on your vision boards and things like that, and making sure that you don't just tuck them away. Unfortunately, some people, they start out the year strong, they write their goals, they get all those things set up, and they're so excited about them. They make their beautiful vision boards. But how often are you going back to those vision boards and those goals and measuring like how far you've come or how close you are to attaining them, or just making sure that they're still in your viewpoint? Like I have to do that. Like that is, that's something that I have to stay on top of. I probably could do a lot better job of that, and that's something that I've been reminded of, and I'm definitely going to make sure that I continue to pick up. But you know, I think that it's so crucial to use those tools and resources to be able to measure yourself, right? I think that again, like along the lines of like with the discernment, right? Um, the discernment for me comes from a spiritual place, right? And it comes from a one of a knowing, right? There's kind of a certain knowing or feeling that I get when something comes my way. Sometimes there are those moments where I may be a little bit unsure, or I just may not quite know. Like, is this for me, or should I join this group? Like there's some really nice people here, or business people here. I mean, there's been like like I said, I've gone through this like the last couple weeks, right? Because there's this really good group that I'm part of, and yeah, I had to assess like, am I getting what I need out of it? Is it pulling me off track from my goals? Am I able to meet the time commitments like for actually it was a couple groups. I went through that with again just some of these networking groups that I've started to join and link up with. And when I sat down and looked at my goals, as well as just the richness of the connections that I was getting, I actually came to the conclusion and to the discernment that, what, they actually were a fit. That, I'm able to manage my schedule in such a way that I am able to make it work. And so, those are things that I believe I need to continue to be connected to, right? And there's some other, opportunities that have come about, some more virtual or what have you, that, you know, like one, I forgot that I even signed up for it, or I was in the evaluation or approval process, because they, had kind of a vetting process or what have you, and I got accepted into it today. And so, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the connection and what have you. And so, again, like you need to have that discernment to be able to understand, like, if something's for you, because it may be that it's just not for you right now. It's not the right timing. Or again, maybe it's going to force you to pull yourself too thin, where you could begin to lose some focus of your health goals even, which is very crucial to your success. And so you need to make sure that you, again, have that discernment, and call on that power, that higher power, to give you the guidance, because you may not know, like maybe God of the universe is setting something up or allowing individuals or an organization to come into your life for a reason. It may be something down the road, right? Or a reason down the road that he's connecting you to a group of people or to individuals, and it may not make sense right now, but he knows, God knows, he's all knowing. He may know that, hey, I'm aligning you because there's some things that are coming along the way down the road, and you're going to need to have that perspective. You're going to need to have those connections, or in that vantage point, or and support system. And so, you have to keep that in mind too, and just make sure that you are, you know, like seeking out understanding, and not just making rash, quick decisions, right? But sometimes you do have the fear of missing out. Like I've seen people just sign up for things, like, or they'll join different groups, and then they will, like the person, like, again, it takes a lot to run these groups, right? And so maybe the person that's leading the group, they want out. And so they're trying to like smooth you and talk to you like about, hey, do you want to take over? And again, you really have to do some assessment, because Again, you could feel pushed into it because you don't want to miss out, right? It would give you greater visibility of the group. It would allow you opportunities to be able to show your organizational skills, your project management skills. So sometimes, having those opportunities are great. They can be great opportunities, but you have to be realistic as to whether or not it's something that you can really manage on your plate. And I will tell you, when those opportunities have come about, unfortunately, right now, because I'm still in building phase, right, for my businesses, and growing and bringing on new contractors and training them and what have you, and managing, through that process. It's a not right now for me. Like, I didn't want to let the organization down and the individuals within the organization. But when I really stepped back, I realized I would not have been able to be committed. Look, I was already with one of the opportunities, I was already trying to figure out or find ways that I would be able to like outsource or delegate some of the tasks, possibly to like my contractors to do. So that let me know like I didn't have the time. I wasn't going to be able to commit as necessary and really show up as necessary, like, to take on those added responsibilities. Now, I am happy that I was able to stay in the group. Like, my commitment level is still there. And as it is right now, like, I'm able to find the time or manage my time so that it's not so disruptive for me to be able to go and be a participating participant in the group, and actually really enjoy those connections that I'm making within the groups, right? Some of you guys may need to even look back at like mistakes from the past, right? Again, as you just look through the years and reflect back in your memory, there may be some times where you can recognize, what, I made a hasty decision joining this group, or maybe picking up a particular gig, or like a job. Again, us as entrepreneurs, like sometimes you can overcommit yourself too. You have to manage your schedule, and you have to keep that in mind, like with the different opportunities with gigs that come up, like whether you can really truly give it what it needs and really be committed to it. And so, it doesn't mean that the people or the organization isn't a good organization. It just means that, what, it just might not be for you right now. Like, that's just not linked to your destiny. And so, you know, just kind of think back on those instances where maybe you felt pushed into something, or you kind of knew, like, I don't think I should, this is my thing. But you kind of did it anyway because you didn't want to let folks down or disappoint them, and it turned bad. Like, always kind of reflect on those things, because again, when things don't go right in our world or in our life, sometimes like those instances happen for a reason, to be able to teach you, or give you an opportunity to learn or to walk away with a lesson. Now, some of them could be expensive lessons, I don't like the expensive lessons, but trust me, I've had some, and maybe even experiencing some now. But I'm telling you, we walk through it and we take what we can from it to grow and to get better. But I just wanted to come to you guys with that. Again, to really evaluate, what is for you, and make sure that you're staying true to your connections and true to your goals and true to yourself. Now, explore the idea also that there actually is some power in saying no, right? Because again, like I said, you don't want to overcommit yourself and not show up for the other folks, because it could turn bad, especially like if it's something like with your friend group. And you get pushed into something, and then let's say you're not able to commit as much as you thought you were, or as much as they had their expectations for you to commit. There could be bad blood, like there could be bad feelings, and just don't do that to yourself or to them. And so, again, sometimes there is the power in saying no as well. So don't feel bad about, having to step out of something, or back out of it, or even just say no. I think people will respect you for that. And there's a way to do it without breaking relationships. Again, just to be transparent and honest. Like, that's the best way to be. To me, that's the only way to be. And, you get through it. And again, I think people respect you for that. And who knows, maybe down the road, there might be another opportunity that comes about. And, they might consider you for it. And who knows, your schedule may allow to be able to add on that additional thing or that commitment, and it may be a win-win. You never know, guys. Again, this is another moment with Lamborghini C, and again, I want to remind you, everything might not be your thing. All right, bye guys, have a good day.